In this video, I'm going to be going over the Bellwork for Thursday, April 11th, and then going through the notes for quadratic functions. So for the Bellwork, you should have already had time to solve this by completing the square. And now I'm just going to go through the method. Completing the square is what we learned on Wednesday. There are steps on completing the square. Those can be found in the notes. Um, or you can just follow along as I go through this. So to start completing the square, first thing you want to do is move C. So I need to move that one because it's always A, B, and then C. So I want to move C to the other side. Since it is negative or it's being subtracted, I'm going to add it to both sides. X squared plus 20x comes down. Leave some space because we're going to put something there. And then 0 plus 80 is 80. Another thing that some students might benefit from or teachers is to put two lines. That tells you that you have to put something there, and by equations, what you do to this side, you have to do to this side. So that's why I put one line on each side. To find the number you're going to add, we use the formula, which is b over 2 squared. This is the formula that would make this side a perfect square. So b over 2, b is 20. So I'm going to take b out, and I'm going to put 20 in. And then order of operations, start with what's on the inside of the parentheses. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 squared, 10 times 10 is 100. So I'm going to add 100 to both sides. What you do to one side, you do to the other. We did this purposely because now on the left side, so this side, we have a perfect square trinomial, which means I can use the x method to factor it. 100 goes on top, 20 goes on bottom. What are the two numbers that multiply to 100 and add to 20? Since it's a perfect square trinomial, you should know that you're going to get the same number, and that's 10 and 10. So I'm going to take this trinomial and put it in factored form, which is x plus 10 two times, because there's two tens, but a shorter way of writing that is x plus 10 squared equals 80 plus 100 is 180. Why did we do it this way? Everything we did because now there's one x term, which means we can solve this equation. You can solve any equation that has one variable, one x, one y, one z. Now that there's one x, I'm going to start by getting rid of that exponent. The opposite of an exponent is a radical, in this case a square root. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So now I have x plus 10 left. The square root of 180, that would give me 13.42. Don't forget your plus or minus. And then from here, teachers do it differently. There's actually two different ways. I'm going to show you how they're going to show you in Algebra 2. I did show a few classes this. So they would actually solve it. So to get rid of adding, we subtract. So it's now a negative 10. So now I have x equals that negative 10. This one, we're going to keep it in the front. So we're going to put it in front of the plus or minus. So negative 10 plus or minus 13.42. You'll see this a lot in Algebra 2, so I do want to expose that to you. And from here, they'll make it into the two separate equations. X equals negative 10 plus 13.42. That's the one with the plus sign. And then on this side, they'll do the one with the negative or with the subtraction, minus 13.42. You'll actually see this on Friday when we do quadratic formula as well. And then they add that, or they solve each equation. On this side, you get 3.42. When I subtract on the side, I get negative 23.42. So those are the two answers. And I did graph this because remember, completing the square, difficult process. So you don't want to do all the work and get it wrong. So I graphed it. I should have pointed the points out. Those are the 2 points, and they did match. So on Desmos, I typed in x squared plus 20x minus 80, and I got those two answers.